Hello, welcome to Big Orbit Games unboxing video of the new Wave 8 X-Wing Mist Hunter expansion pack. My name is Simon and I'll be taking through the unboxing today. So what I'm going to do is just open it up and show you what's inside. Now, as much fun as it is to watch me cut through clamshell packaging, I've skipped that and cut through one earlier. So yeah, except I'm just going to open it up and just show you what's inside. So take the miniature out, but I'm going to show you that towards the end of the video. Save the best for last. Nice and screechy. So I'll just quickly show you on the inside of here. So we have a list of everything that comes in the expansion pack, and you get loads in this one. And then also just its maneuver dial. As you can see, it's quite an interesting little maneuver dial because it's I say interesting because it's fairly straightforward, but there's quite a lot of reds in there as well. So I think it's going to be interesting flying this one around. So, but yeah, also advice is to keep hold of these when you buy one, cut out this panel, keep it separate, and you can reference it when flying against these ships, so you can have an idea of where your opponent's able to maneuver to. So let's just go in here and get the tokens and cards out. If I can get them out the bag. It's always a bit of a tight fit. So there we go. Loads of cards in there. So I'll show you the cards in a moment. First I'll just show you the tokens. So you get your normal ship tokens that you need and identifiers. You get these new tokens in there as well, which I'll show you in a bit. You get a cloaking token, which is cool. I'll show you that soon as well. And then also you have your maneuver dial here, which is I spoke to a moment ago about. I think it's quite an interesting little one. So, moving on here to the cards. I'll show you the upgrade cards shortly. I'll show you the ship cards first. So first of all, we have Zuckuss. Nice bit of artwork of him leaving Bespin Cloud City by the looks of it. So it's a G1A Starfighter is the type of ship. Also, I should have mentioned this earlier, sorry, this is for Scum and Villainy. Scum and Villainy get two ships in Wave 8. They get this and the Punishing One. Rebels get Ghost, the big ship, and then the Imperials get the Inquisitor's TIE. So Scum and Villainy get a double dose in this set, just to help bring them up to speed. So Zuckuss is Pilot Skill 7, 3 attack, 1 defense, full hull and full shield. So not much defense, but then better hull and shields. His ability is when attacking, you may roll 1 additional attack die. If you do, the defender rolls 1 additional defense die. So that's a interesting trade-off in abilities, but with upgrade cards, there's a good way to abuse and manipulate that extra dice, so your opponent's extra defense dice becomes sort of invalid. So it's an interesting ability. We have the focus, target lock, and evade talents on there, abilities. And then you've got elite pilot talent, crew. I forgot the name of that one. My apologies, and the illicit upgrades icon as well. So 4 different upgrades you can choose from, and it's 28 points, so not too bad. Then we have Forlom. So down to pilot skill 6, still the same stats. His ability is at the start of the end phase, you may assign one of your stress tokens to another ship at range 1. And note that doesn't say friendly ship, it's just another ship at range 1. So you can pass it on to your opponents because you're so kind and generous like that. Still the same actions and still the same upgrades, but 27 points. So 1 point down for a different ability and 1 less pilot skill. I picked 2 cards up then, sorry. Then we have the Gand Findsman. So pilot skill 5, same stats, no abilities. Same actions, same upgrades, but clocking at 25 points. So 2 point drop for a lost pilot skill and no ability. We have the Ruthless Freelancer. Again, we're dropping down in the pilot skill down to pilot skill 3. We've lost 2 points. We've also lost an elite pilot talent upgrade. So a bit of a drop in the upgrades there. But now we have the Tractor Beam. So that was that new token we saw earlier. So this is a new action, new ability with the Tractor Beam. So what the Tractor Beam does is put a Tractor Beam token on the opponent, and then when it gets to their turn during the combat phase, the agility value of the ship is reduced by 1 for each Tractor Beam, down to a minimum of 0, so no minuses. And in the end phase, you remove all the Tractor Beam tokens. But the first time a small ship receives a Tractor Beam token each round, the opposing player chooses one of the following effects. Perform a barrel roll using the 1 forward maneuver template. The opposing player selects the direction of the barrel roll and the final position. Oof. or perform a boost using the one forward maneuver template. This is not an action or maneuver, by the way, and can cause the ship to overlap obstacles, but not other ships. So it's an interesting one, the tractor beam. That's I can see this seeing a lot of play because of the flexibility of what you can do to your opponent with it, and reducing their agility value. It's got a lot of implications, which is cool. We also have reference cards for the iron tokens, the new dual upgrade cards. So dual upgrades are double-faced. So when they're equipped with the dual upgrade card, it can be placed with either side face up, and they are not active until they're placed in the play area during setup. Only the face up side of it is active though. So there's two different sides, and you can just choose which one you want to use. So useful for like tournament settings where you might want to have the flexibility, or the, as the card's called, the adaptability to utilize it. You also have a reference to the cloak action, how to decloak, and how modifications and titles work. There's a lot of reference cards in this one. Usually you only get 2, but you get quite a few in this one. You get 6 different reference cards. The most important one probably being the tractor beam token, because the dual upgrades is fairly self-explanatory, hopefully. So, reference cards. So, onto the upgrade cards. So speaking of dual face cards, first of all we have adaptability. So it costs 0 points. It tells you it's a dual card, it's an elite pilot talent, decrease your pilot skill value by 1, or increase your pilot skill value by 1. So there's a lot of different situations where you might want to consider whether you want to be activating sooner or later. I'm not entirely convinced about adaptability itself. I'm sure better pilots are. However, I'm intrigued to see what FFG are going to do in future. I think this is leading the way to some very, very interesting upgrade cards. So we get 2 of those dual face cards in there. Now we have electronic baffle. So it's a 1 point. It's a, I want to say sensor upgrade, but I don't think that's right. When you receive a stress token or an iron token, you may suffer 1 damage to discard that token. It's a bit of a hefty cost just to remove it. Especially as a lot of ships only have like 3 or 4 hull. That's a lot of damage to take on something that has so little to spare. However, it could be the difference between life and death, at which point you'd rather stay alive because you don't end up flying into something, or you can still perform your maneuver. So one of the more intriguing ones, you get 2 of those. I'm not sure how much it will get used, but then that might just be me being too scared of taking damage. So here we have the tractor beam. So you're rolling 3 red dice at range 1 to 3. It only costs a point, and it's an attack. So you attack a ship, obviously. If it hits, the defender receives a tractor beam, then cancel all dice results. So the same as like ion tokens and stuff. So, and you get 1 in there. I expect to see tractor beams end up getting played a lot, actually. Like I said, because you can just be so abused. So here we have Forlom as one of the crew. Scum only. He only costs a point, and when attacking during the modify attack dice step, you can receive an ion token to choose one of the defender's focus or evade tokens. That token cannot be spent during this attack. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I like the idea of what it's doing, but I think the cost is a bit too high for them just to be unable to spend it, because it doesn't remove it, it doesn't discard it from your opponent, and you're taking an ion damage, an ion token, which means your opponent knows exactly where you're moving next turn, etc. I mean, there are ways to mitigate it or work around it, but then you're spending points to make a card better, when surely you'd be better off just spending points to have better cards, for full stop. So, but if you've got better ideas of how Forlom can be useful, please feel free to post them in the comments below. I'd love to know how he can be utilised a bit better. Then we have Zuckuss as another crew. Another 1-pointer, and when attacking you may receive any number of stress tokens to choose an equal number of defense dice, and the defender must re-roll those dice. Again, I've got a similar quandary with this one in that I think the cost is a bit too high for what it does, but then also taking stress tokens isn't as bad as taking an ion, I don't feel, because they are slightly easier to sort of work around. And also you're forcing them to re-roll dice, which can be just mean, especially if your opponent's rolled all face-up evades. You know, you can force them to re-roll them all. So I think he's a little bit more useful. Now here's probably the most interesting card from this upgrade, from this expansion, which is the cloaking device. So it's small ship only. It's an illicit upgrade, so pretty much only Scum and Villainy are getting this. But action, perform a free cloak action, which is amazing, especially for 2 points. But there's a catch. At the end of each round, if you are cloaked, roll 1 attack die, and on a focus result, discard this card, then decloak or discard your cloak token. So it's really good to give you the ability to perform free cloak actions for just 2 points. There is a chance you'll lose it, but even just gaining cloak for 1 turn might be the difference between your ship dying or being in the position it needs to be in. So I really like this device, the cloaking device. I think it's going to change Scum and Villainy lists quite a bit. You're going to see some new interesting ones. However, it is unique, so you can only have 1 of these, which is you know why they've done it, so your opponent doesn't just spam a whole list of these. But it is a shame that it's unique. So, but yeah, I think it's probably one of the coolest upgrades from Wave 8. Then we've got the Mist Hunter title. So this can only be put on the Starfighter, the G1A. Your action bar gains the barrel roll action icon, and you must equip a tractor beam upgrade. So that's something we haven't seen before, an upgrade that tells you to equip another one. So it was just quickly, the tractor beam's only 1 point. Yep, that's just double checking it wasn't 2. So effectively this upgrade costs you 1, but it does force you to have the tractor beam in that slot. So, but then on the upside, you get an evade action, barrel roll action. So, you know, not much of a cost to pay, is there? So interesting title, the Mist Hunter. I'd expect a lot of G1A pilots will fly with the Mist Hunter title. Because I can't see much need to swarm with them. So yeah, I can see the Mist Hunter and tractor beam being used a lot for that. So there we go. Those are all the cards and stuff in the Mist Hunter. Now let's have a look at the model itself. So it's in the slightly bigger packaging because it's a slightly bigger model than normal. So slightly bigger than like the X-Wings and stuff. It's more like on the K-Wing side of things. As you can see from my hand, it's quite a big ship. The sculpt on it looks fairly decent. There's quite a lot of empty panels. I don't know if that's just because of the design of it or not. Slightly reminiscent of certain other ships, but I like it overall. I think it's kind of cool looking. But also I think it's a bit, I don't know, it seems a bit bland, I guess. Maybe it's just the colour scheme of it that's making me think that. Like I said, as usual for FFG, it's well sculpted, well detailed. The paint's alright for something that's, you know, manufactured en masse in a factory, so you know, the red stripes and stuff are well done, so yeah, I can't complain about that. I think it's a cool looking ship. I think it's interesting. I'm just not completely convinced. Like I said, there's something slightly off about the design of it. I don't know, I just can't put my finger down on what it is. Just something that doesn't make it immediately a, oh wow, that's amazing. Just a, huh, that's cool looking. So yeah, so there we go. That is the Mist Hunter model itself. So yeah, so that's everything in the Mist Hunter. I think it's a cool expansion for Scum and Villainy. I mean, like I said, you're not going to be swarming with this. I imagine you're going to be taking a Mist Hunter and Tractor Beam on probably Zuckuss or Forlom. Just because of the higher pilot skill for the very small points increase from the normal versions. So, I'll be interested to see some lists that are running this that aren't, you know, it'd be nice to see Scum and Villainy lists that aren't just aggressors, but that's not the point. So, yeah, I'm intrigued to see some lists that utilise this. And again, if anyone can think of a really good way to use the electronic baffle or Forlom, I'd be very intrigued to see how you figured out a way to use those whilst negating the downsides. So yeah, so remember, everything you've seen in this video today can be bought and sold on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk, as individual components. So each individual token card and ship and everything can be bought all separately and traded into us all separately as well. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll also be unboxing the rest of Wave 8 later, so check those out. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.